This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for therapy. If you are experiencing mental distress, please seek professional help.
I fall asleep under the trees. I follow where the current leads. Whispers in the woods, they call to me. Listen as the wind awakes the leaves.
Welcome to the Wellness Project Podcast. I am your host, Wilson. Each episode aims to bring mental health awareness through exploring psychoeducation, scholarly literature, professional interviews, and the personal stories of people's journey to mental wellness. So, with that said, let's get started.
I can feel the mountains come alive. It feels like my whole life I've been blind.
So, I guess to start with, turn that down just a hair. Would you mind just sort of telling me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I originally grew up here,
Okay.
and it was a very interesting way to grow up because some people have different opinions on different things.
Yeah. And being in like the Midwest, right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's definitely a difficult thing to deal with sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because when you have certain situations that occur, you don't know how to handle them. With certain type of problems that you have mentally.
Okay. Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about that. Like when you say mentally, there's a whole book on it,
Yeah, there definitely is a book on it.
Yeah.
But mentally, so for a prime example, when it comes to like having schizophrenia, a lot of people do not really understand, the type of things that they have to deal with on a daily basis.
Right.
And they really don't know how far those extensive problems go.
Yeah. Well,
And that's very important for them to know that.
absolutely. I mean, and from a general public stance, I assume people are familiar with the term schizophrenia, but they definitely don't have, very much knowledge behind it or what it's like with someone that's been diagnosed with schizophrenia.
So somebody who has schizophrenia,
Mm-hmm.
on a daily basis, they have to differentiate which one is the right voice to go with, because in all reality, they're having a hard time finding who they are.
Yeah. Yeah. How old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was about 6, maybe 7.
Okay.
And it was really hard and rough, and growing up with parents who had also certain issues because they were born back in like the 70s. And the
Okay.
70s were a lot different then.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like some of those people that were born in the 70s still live in the 70s,
Yeah.
And it's not always a bad thing, but at the same time, your kids pick up everything that you do.
Yeah. And was there like some skepticism on your parents' part of like, what do we do with you now?
Not really, because my dad was the one that had it go through the bloodline of me and my brothers. So my dad originally had this issue and was born with this issue.
Yeah.
And then what happened was it was genetically,
Yep. Yeah. That's one of the things with, either bipolar or with schizophrenia is that there is a strong genetic lineage to that disorder.
Yeah, but also a lot of people don't realize with the people that have these type of issues,
Mm-hmm.
they do have decisions on where they want to go with it, but at the same time they still battle their everyday life because they don't know if they're coming or going sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So would it be fair to say that people have schizophrenic episodes?
I would say that it is possible to push them into one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's the thing, that people don't realize is an individual who has schizophrenia can be completely fine one moment, but then it's like when something piles up on them,
Mm-hmm.
they hold on to it. So the next thing just keeps adding on to it till eventually the pipes burst.
Yeah. Okay. So you're always living with schizophrenia, but if you don't take care of it or sort of process it, then that's when it can build up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where the bipolar comes in.
Right.
And then with like PTSD, the PTSD is based upon traumatic experience.
Yep.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand is somebody that continuously relives that situation is continuously being traumatically impacted every day repeatedly.
Yeah. Do you ever just want to break?
Like personally, I feel like I would not want to break, but I would much rather have somebody to be able to understand that even though I'm an individual who has these type of problems, I don't want you to base or judge my character off of that.
That's fair. Yeah, of course,
And 90% of the time, that's usually what happens. So it's hard for an individual who has these type of problems to even talk to anybody or be open with them because people have a certain judgment based upon how people act.
Yeah.
But what they don't realize, though, those type of problems make them act out of character that's unusual.
Right. So they're by not treating them as an individual,
You're making the issue worse.
You're making it worse. Right. Yeah. That's, well, man, I think that statement could go a long way for a lot of people. You got to look at the individual. So
not the problems that they hold.
Right.
And that's the thing. People with these type of problems hold all of the weight of the world on them.
Mm-hmm.
And in all reality, all they want to do is be able to succeed. They want to further the future just like you do.
Yeah.
And, they want to be accepted as well by everybody around them as well. But it's hard for them to feel that way because they know that they're different.
Yeah. So like how much of your mental health do you think, how old are you now? Let me ask that.
I'm 31 now.
Okay. Because like I'm curious, because typically, around your 30s is really when your own identity starts to come out, and you get more comfortable about sort of who you are in this world, But like how much of your mental health either overshadows that, or do you lean into it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel like when I feel one of my issues taking an effect on me to the point that it's affecting my life, it means that I need to make a change in my character in order to be a better me.
Yeah. And just be, I don't want to say comfortable, like that doesn't sound like the right word, but like accepting.
Yeah, more willing. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes people with these type of problems are not willing to really face what it is that's making them end up having these triggers.
Sure. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know how to watch for triggers with these type of people. And the reason they don't is because they really ain't living inside their mind and understanding what it is that they're going through on a daily.
Right. Because it's scary.
It really is, because one moment it's like, okay, good prime example. You could be having a traumatic experience where something really bad happened to you, okay? And then all of a sudden, now you're walking down the street, you already forgot all about that experience.
Yeah.
But now it's repeatedly coming right back into your mind over and over and over.
Yeah.
Now, to relive that over and over and over, you got to think what it's doing to your mind, what it's doing to your body, what it's doing to you energy-wise.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that people with these type of problems, they do have a lot of negative energy, but it's because of either the situation of what they've been going through while they grew up, or because of situations they have been in.
Yeah. So for you personally, like when you get into that loop, or that, I guess like the clinical term would be ruminating, and like ruminating is what cows do the grass. They just constantly chew on it. But we as humans, we ruminate on our thoughts, where we just process them over and over and over. Would you mind sharing with me, if you can, like an example of when that happens, or how frequently that happens, and then what do you do?
Okay, so a good example would be if I got into an argument with somebody over a situation and I was upset about the situation. For that moment, I would let it go.
Okay.
I'm able to let it go.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's still festering inside of my mind. And that's what that problem, those type of mental issues do is they try to affect you down to the T.
Gotcha.
And it's like when you're fighting with yourself to be who you want to be, but also fighting somebody else that you don't even know is existing or is even real,
right,
is a whole different situation.
Yeah.
Because then you start questioning if reality is real. And that's when it becomes a problem.
Gotcha. So it's sort of manifests as, it wasn't perfect. It didn't live up to my expectations. Something was wrong about this situation. And that's what plants the seed for you. And it just goes around and around and around until
eventually what happens is you get emotionally, physically, and mentally overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And your body just doesn't know how to react. So then you blow up.
Okay.
And that's what happens.
Yeah.
Is you try to pull back, you try to have that strength, but whatever it is that's inside that has festered for so long, for some reason, it just grabs a hold of your character.
Wow.
And it gets worse throughout the years.
Okay.
And the reason I say this is because of the fact that your mind starts to kind of break down more and more because you're still fighting. And people don't understand that for somebody that has those type of problems to continuously keep fighting.
Yeah.
That should really tell you exactly how much strength that individual has.
Right. Oh, for sure. No, man, absolutely. And like, thank you for sharing this because it makes me kind of realize too that like for people that aren't schizophrenic, they can let things go and it's gone. Like it's, it seems like it just kind of vanishes. Whereas, for you, that whatever kind of trauma or difficult situation, it builds into your head like a catalog that only gets longer, right? It just keeps adding to it.
And that's the thing that people don't realize is every traumatic experience for people that have these type of issues, it sticks with them.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Insightful.
And that's the thing, like, I'm even going through my own trials and tribulations right now. But at the same time, I still find hope and I still find faith in things because I believe in people.
Yeah.
And that's the most powerful thing you can do is believe in other people when they do not believe in themselves.
Yep. Well, and for the general public, I think I've mentioned this a couple times on this podcast, 80% of self-talk is negative. So that means you only have 20% of self-talk to even work with. And you really got to channel that. You got to fight into that. You got to like flowers. You got to like being outdoors. You have to really appreciate beauty, I think, and the good stuff, right?
I think that what it is you really need to enjoy the qualities of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Know what it is that you enjoy.
Yeah. And that's what makes you special. So I guess like that's where I'm getting at with the accepting part of having schizophrenic or bipolar or, just your own journey of it. You don't have to love it. You don't have to fake it. You just got to be at a point where it's like, this is me and this is my journey.
And it's not even just that, in the process of these journeys that I've been taking throughout my life, my mother's always been there, and my mother's always been my rock.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. As long as you have had one solid parent that has been there, I'm telling you, you're going to be successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter what type of issues you have.
Right.
It's just about how you look at things in life. I've had some experiences where I've had so many family members using drugs and doing things to deal with those issues. And 90% of the time, for issues that we were using drugs to deal with it.
Yeah.
Because in all reality, that's the only way we knew how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But at some point, you got to grow up and know that you have to make a change, and that is not the way to go. Because in all reality, you don't know if it's making those problems worse or making them better.
Exactly. And people don't realize that, drugs and alcohol are coping skills. We don't like to say that because they're not good ones, but that's what they are. They are coping skills with life. I've rarely, if ever, met someone that was in recovery that the underlying issue was more than just the substance use. There's always another backstory. And sometimes it takes years to get to that story or to, get to the root of it, let's say. But I mean, it was interesting because for a while there, I was working with folks recovering from heroin, and it was like, it was just eye-opening to have these group discussions of like, not one person just willingly said, yeah, like, I'm gonna go do heroin. It's like, no one says that. No one wants to fall into that. So
I can give you a prime example of a situation like that.
Yeah.
Because I've actually been in a trap house where they have actually had situations like this, And the thing is, like, one of the PTSD moments of a traumatic experience that I've been through is one I'm about to share with you.
Mm.
And then I was inside of a drug house and everybody was shooting dope and doing things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the dude ended up selling a TV and a PlayStation 3 with no cord to somebody.
Mm.
Turns out he got drugs from him. So they came back, they pistol whipped him, pistol whipped his girlfriend, and shot a hole through the bathroom, through the couch, through the bathroom wall.
Oh my God.
So here's the kicker. I would have been sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have went to the store, I would have been sitting on the couch.
Where the bullet went through.
Exactly. And that's what woke me up to realizing I wanted something different for my life.
Yeah.
Because that's not how I want to get buried by my family. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah. And it's by a grace of some higher power or unknown thing that you were at the right place at the right time, let's say.
I think that honestly, God was trying to give me a leeway to warn me, like, you need to seriously change your life, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I did. And that's what I've been doing. And it's like, for the last 10 years, I haven't even been incarcerated. So for somebody to look at me and say, yo, you can't change, that's a lie. Because I was an abuser of drugs, because that was a way of me being able to deal with my issues.
Mm.
But in all reality, I'm realizing now that if I want to be able to help somebody else and I want to see other people prosper before I have to go,
mm-hmm.
then that means that I got to be better. I got to be a better me for other people.
Yeah. Yeah. That, like, it makes me really reflect and think about too, yes, we have our own personal lives, our moms or dads or spouses, kids and stuff. But like, in large, we all are part of a community. Like, someone cares about you. We all need each other here. So that's amazing that you're able to then still fight through that.
And me personally, even though people pass judgment, right? I don't pass judgment against anybody. And I love my community. I love everybody in the community that I live in. And honestly, I would do anything for any of them. And the reason I would is because I got that big of a heart that I like to see other people happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even if I'm having a bad day and I do something nice for you, at the end of the day, I'm going to feel better about myself.
Sure. It's giving to other, or having service for other people is a way of self-fulfilling happiness,
And honestly, I've never felt more successful in my life than I do now, helping so many people.
Yeah. And you have a job, you're working, you're doing entrepreneuring work as well. That has to feel good.
Here's the thing though, even though I'm dealing with these issues, I deal with them in moderation.
What do you mean?
And here's what I mean by that. So when they approach themselves and I get upset about something that's affecting me from the past, I look at it in a different situation of a different light.
There you go. From someone else's perspective.
Yes.
That's interesting.
And when you do that, having these type of problems, you're more able to kind of ease back.
Right. And that is the hardest thing about empathy. It's not sympathy, it's empathy. It's being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And guess what? It might be the wrong size of shoe. It might not be your favorite color of shoe. That's not the point. The point is for you to try on someone else's shoes and step into their life. That's where like the work comes in your mind to really think about, gosh, like I wonder what it's like for that other person.
See, like for a prime example, I was married just recently and things didn't work out. But at the same time, I could have chose two different paths. Okay. I could have chose a path to either go use drugs and completely ruin my life, possibly die or get mixed up into something that could have got me put in prison.
Yeah.
Or I could have put the gas pedal on my life and literally got to some money, started stacking and being more successful than anybody's ever seen me be. And the reason I say that is because all the positive energy that I'm about to pump out into the world,
yeah,
I'm hoping is going to help other people be successful as well.
And you'll get it back, you know? And the thing with the whole, like, you know, the other road, dude, you've been there, you know? That's a known hell. Whereas like you're stepping into an unknown heaven is how the saying goes. And it's just as scary, if not scarier, but the reward is at the end of that or through that, you know?
So I'm going to give you another example of something. I seen a best friend of mine that I've known for years, and he was using drugs for a long time. And he has his issues, but he had some ran down clothes on, and I look at him and I'm like, man, I'm sorry, bro, but I can't have you walking around looking like this, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I went and I grabbed him some nice clothes, came back, gave him to him, and he looked like he wanted to cry. And I was like, look, man, all you got to do is have faith in yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you start having faith in yourself and you decide to change, that's when you can come talk to me and I'll do anything for you.
There you go. That's that energy thing.
And that's the thing I told him, like, you don't kick yourself when you're down. You just need to realize what you want in your life and where you want to go. And when you figure that out, that's going to be the most important thing. And I told him, like, I don't want you to go like our best friend Brian did. And it's like, I've known you guys for years. So it's like, I need you to understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah. And you need him to do better. So that way he rubs off on you and then you do better. It's the law of attraction. It works, you know, kindness helps more kindness.
But what sucks is when you want people that you know are important in your life, you know almost all of your life.
Yeah.
You want them to be on the right track. Yeah. You can't, how do I put this? You can't do two things, and that's push too hard and give in at certain moments.
Sure. Yeah. It's so messed up, man. But like relationships and the impact that they have on your life is powerful.
It is extremely powerful. And powerful. You know, me personally, like after the situation that happened with my wife, because I've never been married before, it really traumatically affected me.
Yeah. Mentally.
And, I'm the type of person who I like to be an emotional person. And it's a good thing that I'm able to do that, because most people with these type of problems are not able to feel emotions.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult, particularly with the bipolar part. That's all mood. That's just higher levels of anger and bliss and euphoria, and then really low levels of depression and anxiety. So it's just it's a emotional mess.
So this is how I started to realize exactly how detrimentally serious my issues are, is when the situation happened with my wife. I started to relive what she did to me every day. So it was hard for me to even close my eyes. It was hard for me to go to sleep.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to eat, because everything reminded me of this person. But at the end of the day, right, I still have enough strength to be who I need to be and carry on, because I can't let somebody else dictate my life.
No.
And I realize that. And it's like, I also come to terms that, maybe I got married too young. Not only that, but also, I feel that sometimes when you grow too attached to somebody, it can become dangerous, especially with these type of issues. Because when you do something to that person after they become your significant other, it eats away at them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they have to find now a way to deal with that you left them with. And other people don't really see it in that aspect. So in all reality, you don't see the individual who's sitting at home crying alone in pain because they don't want you to see exactly what is going on.
Right. Yeah. They're not able to really be authentic about how they're really feeling it, And I mean, for anybody to go through a divorce or a breakup, it eats away at who you are as a person too, definitely.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it's different from eating away at a person who doesn't have those type of issues mentally.
Yeah.
Because it's 10 times more intense.
Right.
So that means that, like, what another person would experience of how they would deal with it is different than somebody with these type of problems on how they would deal with it, because it would slowly eat away at them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because for you, like you said, it builds onto that catalog in your mind.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And
So
that's
it's
the
just
thing,
another
like,
layer.
and that's the thing, you know, you could be having a perfectly fine day, and all of a sudden now you're crying and you're upset and don't know why. But then you start thinking and and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper to the point that you don't even know if you're in a hole or if you're out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you, if you're okay with sharing, like, how do I put this? Like, how do you get help, or how have you received help in the past?
How I have received help in the past is I was on medications, and for several years they kept trying to figure out which medication worked for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, me personally, certain medications, you know, as a person, you don't like it really messing with your psychic. And then it's like, you don't really like taking pills to begin with.
Right.
So you have no choice but to take them, because in all reality, if you don't take them, you know that you're not going to be able to live a daily life.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm going to let you know right now, like, I recently been off my medications for like probably 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to deal with it because I wanted to know if I was capable or strong enough to be able to deal with my own issues without having a medication control me.
Right.
And and for somebody to have as many problems as I do mentally, to be able to have the capability to do that,
Right.
and the strength to do that.
Yeah. That's,
you know,
pretty damn resilient of you, you know, and I would imagine, since I think you said you were diagnosed when you were 6.
Yes.
So you were on medications your whole childhood.
Yeah. I was on medications all the way up until I was probably about 26.
Okay.
And then after that, I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
So I want to see what I can do without having these medications.
Right.
But then I started to realize that without the medications, certain parts of me, of my character that wasn't me, was coming out. So that's when I started to realize, okay, there might not be a possibility that I can live my life without these meds.
Yeah. The problem too, bud, is like, we really don't know what we're doing that well when it comes to medications, and everyone reacts differently to them. There's different times in your life when they may be more helpful than not other times. Because like, for you to stop at the age of 26, that's typically when the brain is fully developed. So you had gone through your childhood, you went through the puberty and teens on medications. And then when you're 26, you know, your brain is kind of starting to form the adult, you know, stage. And then you get off of the medications. It took you 8 years to kind of clean it out of you. And now you're not on anything. I think that's pretty remarkable.
And even though that I've had these type of issues, or I've had situations that have been traumatic for me throughout my life, I try not to hold on to those situations. But sometimes it's hard when you either hear something or see something that reminds you of that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just clicks.
Yeah. There are triggers for everyone, you know, and yours are unique to you. You know, it could be, you know, a door slamming, or a loud noise from the gunshot, or just seeing a gun, you know,
so
on TV.
Like, prime example, my brother, you know, he spent some time in prison, and he actually is like that. Like, if he hears, okay, I'm gonna give you a good example. One night, me and my brother and all of our family was sleeping in the house. A cat climbed on top of a shelf and knocked a plate off of the top shelf.
Yeah.
When the plate smashed, my brother was dead asleep. Somehow he was on his feet.
Yeah. Like, just like that.
I'm telling you right now, within the blink of an eye, you would have never even thought that it was even possible. You would literally blink your eye and he was on his feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, okay, I don't think I want to try to wake him up.
Yeah. For now on, you're like slowly shutting doors.
But even growing up, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, even growing up, like, you couldn't even like touch him or nothing, because he would automatically react like that.
Yeah.
So like I said before, you know, you don't know what type of situations people have been through, so you don't know why they react the way they do.
Yeah. Which is where I think I was working with someone a few weeks ago that was dealing with someone in their life that was difficult, and I know what they wanted me to tell them, but I had to say it in a different way. It was, the best way for you to control someone and to get them to do what it is that you want them to do is to watch how you react to them. That's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, that
you
is
can't
true.
You can't control what someone does, but how you react to them, you can. So, that's, I think, a really good message for this this intro episode, because I think we're going to do a couple more of these. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, I'm absolutely cool with that.
All right, man, because I want people to not be afraid to talk to people and to have that conversation with them, because the only thing that you have to do is watch how you react and to be honest and open. And thank you for coming in.
Not a problem, man. I just hope that my message gets out and it helps a lot of people.
Well, I appreciate that, buddy. Thanks.
Hold each other close, walking in the rain. You were like a picture and not a frame. You were like the air and not a plane.
By the way, at The Wellness Project, we have merchandise. That's right, all mental health awareness themed products. We've got artwork, we've got shirts, we've got hats, we've got candles. We're gonna have one for like anxiety awareness, depression awareness, wellness awareness, which is actually out right now. That's right, you can get your own wellness awareness candle. What does it smell like, right? You have to come in and check it out. But if you hit me up on Facebook, or you can email me and I can give you that information. And thank you for your support.
There's a million places I could go, but so you.
If you get a chance and you're in the Port Clinton, Ohio area, stop by the Yellow House Bakery, located on Madison Street in Port Clinton, Ohio. The Yellow House Bakery is passionate about a few things: simplicity, accessibility, community, family well-being, and, of course, baked goods. They aim to connect by creating good for the soul baked goods using only high-quality, simple ingredients. And each month, they also offer a new, unique baked good. And trust me, they sell out quickly, so make sure you get there early.